or someone would ask me the other day, she's like, what are you going to do when you actually find someone really similar to you? Would you get along? I was like, gosh, no, no way. So Leroy, your question today. What would you allow your kids to do that your parents didn't allow you to do?
See, this is a hard one, just straight off the bat, because I felt like I was allowed to do a lot of things that have shaped me, and I can't even actually think of something that I wasn't allowed to do. Like, I guess maybe at different ages, like when I was maybe 10 and I wanted to go out more with my friends, my mom would not let me because I was 10. But then when I was 14, I was able to go out with my friends.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking of things like that. And essentially, you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. There's nothing that stands out to me because I think it's pretty much built the character I am, and I'm quite happy with who I am right now at this present time in my life.
Yeah.
So I might take a little twist on that question, and it's maybe things I would do differently. How's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I like that because I mean, I've been thinking about this one a lot. I was talking to my housemate about it. That's, I guess, where the question came from. I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear Leroy's perspective on this. And we couldn't come up with anything. Like there was obviously things that you didn't like, but they kind of shaped the character that you became. And I think I'll make my kids do the same thing. So I agree. We'll answer that question with, I don't think that there is much that I would let my kids do that I wasn't allowed to do too, as well. So same as you.
Mm.
But what would you do differently to what your parents did?
So now, definitely, one that comes to straight to mind is social media. Just, I guess, when we were young, social media was kind of new, so our parents didn't know about it, didn't know about like what it could do. But now, growing up with social media and like being from that end where, it was introduced to us this new bloody amazing thing, and then like being fully immersed in that, and then sort of coming to the end of it now, thinking, oh, actually it's not all what it looks like. It's
Hmm.
this is kind of problematic. So social media, I would definitely. It's hard with kids because like at the moment you sort of restrict something, that's when they want it more. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I would restrict it, but I would also really educate them, like make it like I don't know, just slip in some like little like different little educational things about social media
Yeah.
and sort of preparing them because I know that there's only so much as a parent I can do. I can say, no, you can't use this social media, but and then as soon as like they have a phone or like they're with their friends, bloody hell, they're on social media already. So
Hmm.
it'll be more about preparing them and teaching them about social media, like what it is, how it influences you, and how you can combat that. So that would be my approach, and I would start that so early. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
complete I completely agree. Like, our parents were kind of cast out, had the kid had us as kids cast out into this world, but all of a sudden there were these crazy phones and all these unknown things that was like a foreign world to them. And then, just because of the way that, young people pick up and learn new things, all of a sudden we were better at phones than they were.
yeah.
What a it's a nightmare scenario for a parent to find themselves in, trying to teach about something that they don't understand and that they don't fully accept, and they find it hard to bring into their life. And all of a sudden they got their kids. This is the basis of their life. Like, having this phone is like the be all and end all.
It
Yeah,
is their life. It's their source. It's their lump.
yeah, like it's living nowadays is totally different to living 40 years ago. Like, that's how you make friends. Annoyingly, that's how you make friends. That's how you keep connected with friendship circles and groups. That's how we meet new people nowadays. And
Mm.
I completely agree. Like it's almost become an integral part of human life, is that there's that sense of connectedness that you get from technology. But in terms of like policing social media, I think if this is a big if, we're not parents, we might get a slap in the face of reality when we are. But being able to educate them and actually sit down with them and show you, this is what social media is, this is what it's good for, this is what it's bad for, this is the choice you have to make. You have to control it. You have to realize that there's consequences to it too. And I guess you could try and set up some parameters, but I don't know. The kids just get around it no matter what, no matter who you are.
Yeah,
Kids will get around it. Like they'll figure
exactly.
it out. And then you make it this forbidden apple. Like, oh, mum doesn't want me doing that. Can't wait to get on my phone at 2 o'clock in the morning when the Wi-Fi blocker is timed out. Like finally,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I think that's exactly social media, and even to extend that technology. Because for me, I had a time like where I was gaming so much. I remember League of Legends back in year 9. Shouts out to Chris, Kenzo, and Josh and Kuda, and we used to like just come from school and then go on this game for 3 hours, 10 p.m. or 11, and then go to bed. And that was only when my mum made me go to bed. So I would also really try to reduce that somehow. But
yeah,
in saying that, like playing these games, we were just on the phone together, just chatting, and it was just such a nice, like it was building social skills, and it was very comforting, especially at that time in puberty, year 9. So what's that, like 15, 16? When you think you're
yeah.
like this and that, and things are coming this way, things can come in that way. It was just nice to have this sort of outlet of a channel where you could just sit back and just like kind of talk with your mates and play games and not be like pushed different agendas and stuff. So
Hmm.
you see, like when I think about things like that, I'm like, oh, I don't really know if I want to take that all away from like my potential kids. But at the same time, I definitely would want to control it more. And that goes on to sort of the next thing I would do. And that is more sort of outdoory things. Like I would really
Before
promote being outdoor more.
before you get into that next point, because I reckon that'll be a really interesting point too. But just to jump back into in terms of like the gaming and the internet and the social media side of things, would you say that your parents were able to effectively control you on those things?
Nah, man. Like
So
the
would
one,
controlling your kids be changing? Because we'll be better at controlling it now because we've been in it amongst it. We're
yeah.
much better at controlling it. Do you think that us controlling it could essentially impact their discovery of that world?
Nah, just because it's going to be so entwined with their life. Like, you know, social media at the beginning, like year 6, like MySpace, MSN, like that was, you heard about it, but you didn't really know about it. But like now, my cousins that are bloody 3, 4, they know Facebook, they know YouTube, they know how to navigate that. Like it's just so entwined early on in their life that like, and then at school they'll be doing sort of like they're on sort of teams at the moment because of the pandemic, like kindergartens on teams, which essentially is an introduction to social media because that instant messaging.
Hmm.
And I think, I don't know, like the things that my mom was able to do was literally to take that that router cable. She took it to work sometimes, and to be honest, I that like that was what stopped me, and it
Yeah.
pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off. But I sit it, and then I was like, all right, I'll go outside and ride my bike, and that was it. So those sort of like, I think, I don't know. I know there's like all these different software and stuff you can get now to block things, but it just makes someone angry, and it didn't really change things in the long run. So I definitely still think that method, like in most things, is that preventable education will be the most impactful thing because they're going to come across this,
Hmm.
and it would just be what you do with that is what defines how it is for you, and like how it takes control of you. So did
Hmm.
I answer your question? I just felt like I went on a little ramble there.
No, I did. I get it. I get it. it's a it's that thing about this dynamic changing environment that we find ourselves in. Like the world could be a totally different place in 10 years time,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden we don't know how to figure this stuff out. Like we're stuck in our version of social media. All of a sudden they've got this crazy kind of VR thing where they're hugging people online and
exactly.
shit. Like
Like
who knows?
they wear these glasses and just go into this hyper world, like online world,
Yeah.
and that's it. And then maybe it can be contacts, or maybe it can be something you put in your skin and you have no idea if they have it. Like it will be different. We just have to
Parenting
stay
maybe is
educated.
parenting might be our biggest challenge yet.
Oh man, I think yeah, it's scary. But
So back to the outdoor and more just the harsh reality of the outside world.
yeah. So I definitely like I went on like little trips and stuff, but not as much as I would have liked to. Maybe that's something I would. Oh, that's something I would do differently. I would go like long weekends, like go on camping trips, learning survival skills, like learning fishing, learning like just basic skills like orientating, and I think that's so crucial because it makes you think critically, and it's just you never know when you need this sort of situation, like you need this skill. Like I want to learn about cars, and I know I'll teach my kids about cars, like how to change a tire, how to do X with the car, like basic things, just those sort of little survival skills that you can pay someone to do it, but you can do it yourself. And
Mm.
I think those sort of skills are pretty crucial. Like I'm noticing now that I'm pretty like not aware of how to really survive out in in the world, like in terms of like if I was lost somewhere, like how to navigate without my phone or like my card. Like so I'm trying to teach myself these sort of things now, just so I can go out more, and just being in nature just makes it. I don't know if it has the same effect for you, but being in nature just brings this calmness to me, and it's like connecting back to the roots, like this feeling, like this energy, this warmth. And
And that could have been something that you connected with a bit more earlier on, per se. You know, learnt these things as a kid. You know, being shown how to do it in this time, and you're learning everything, so it becomes a little bit more ingrained in your nature as opposed to having to learn it now.
yeah, and like it goes hand in hand. Like if you start doing these sort of like I guess survival skills and more outdoor things early in life, when it comes to that point where it's like social media can really really impact someone, they still have this outlet, and probably like at this time they have friends, they have a network who they enjoy doing these things with, so they'll be still out there a lot of times, and they might not take social media and technology like they might not over consume it,
Mm.
because they know like they have this sort of connectedness with nature.
So I guess if we take it back a few years, then let's say your mum knocks on your door. You know, you're you're an hour into the usual, let's say, Monday nightly. What is it?
League of Legends.
League of Legends. What was I going to say? World of Warcraft. League of Legends session with the boys. Like you're having a giggle, you're chatting smack about the girl that one of you messaged the other day. Got no got seen and hurt. Those good times that you're comfortable with. Your mum coming in saying, pulling out the router cord and saying, "No, you're going to scouts today. Like you're going for a bushwalk." Would you have accepted that at the time, or would you say, would that have made you resentful?
It would have made me so mad, but yeah, it would have made me quite resentful. Not like seething mad and like not hold a grudge, but like in that moment I'd have been like, like god damn it. And then if I had if I'm a scout being forced to do it like this, I would just be like, no, I just wouldn't be involved. Like I have this little chip on my shoulder, especially at that age. And I guess that's where it's coming into this, starting this connection early. So you just have to
Yeah.
come to a point where you're just like, oh no, that's enough. Now do this. It's more like introduce it early in life. So it's kind of a way of life.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I
think
get
that's
that.
the kind of only way to really go about it. because just cutting something off and then making someone do something at that age, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, man, because it's all good and well us saying this now, but I know if my mum had to, come in, I was Saturday morning, I was chilling playing Pokemon, watching, it was Yu-Gi-Oh's on the TV. I mean, I was living a life. Like, that was a life. That
Yeah.
was living back then. No cares in the world. Pokemon, cereal, and Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty amazing day to me right now. But if my mum had walked in and said, you got to turn this stuff off, we're going out now to the Blue Mountains, let's say, and we're going to go just figure stuff out along the way. I think I would have, happily done it, but in the same time, I wouldn't consciously choose to do that myself, which is, I think sometimes we might get a bit caught up because we're different people now. And then when we have kids in front of us, man, that might be the hardest thing to do. Take a weekend away from work, away from family, away from other responsibilities. Like, it's all good and well us saying this now, but I get the feeling once the future rolls around,
We're busy.
it may require a little bit more uh, planning and analyzing of what's important to these kids and us.
Yeah.
But that'll all change as we get a little bit older, I guess.
Definitely have to have a strategy.
Well, you've done pretty good. It's a hard question. I'll give that to you. And
Yeah. It's so tough.
and I guess that, maybe if we could see alternate realities, then we could say, yeah, maybe that's one thing I would change, because then I could have had that. But at the moment, all we see is the life that's in front of us. So I think it'd be really hard to go back and look like I would do that differently for my kids, or to say that there's something that I would allow them to do that I wasn't allowed to do, because we don't know what the consequences of that would have been.
Yeah. And I feel like we both lived pretty like easygoing lives too. I don't think our parents were too restricting.
I agree. So you could ask anyone this question, they might have a plethora of answers that they just ready to dump on you. But I don't know. We seem to have a little bit more freedom, hey?
Yeah.
Well, thanks again today. Hope everyone enjoyed this as much as I did. Listen to Leroy. I
Listen to
just
me
imagine.
ramble.
I know what you were like, sitting there, headset on, tapping away, pack of jumpies next to your side, like, go away, mom. I'm almost done. I'll save it after this, knowing full well it is not getting saved, and you don't have to save it. That was the biggest lie I ever told.
Yeah. Biggest lie. All right, mate. See you later. Thanks for listening in, guys. I would love to know your answer to this question.
I reckon there'll be some interesting replies out there too.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
have a
Peace,
good
mate.
day.